The Lucid Air might be called the most interesting car on the road. It looks different, it drives and it feels different. The interior is very innovative and different. But here is what's so interesting about this car is it was designed and engineered by quite a few former Tesla employees, including the CEO of Lucid, who was the engineer on Tesla Model S. But lest you worry that the interior in the Lucid Air is minimalist and bare bones, like we find in a Tesla, well, no, don't worry about that. The head of design for Lucid has a background that includes Mazda, Volkswagen, and our old friend Audi. And do you really need 1,000 horsepower? Well, probably not. 620 horsepower, which is in the Air Touring edition that we're driving, is plenty of power. In fact, when you put it in Swift mode or you put it in Sprint mode, which is think of Sport and Sport Plus, it is super fast. It throws you back in your seat with incredible force, and it will make everybody who's driving with you giggle. The Lucid Air is notable for its front end with a chrome bar that spans the entire front end. There are headlights on either side, and there are air vents, including air curtains here, where you'll also find a light. And then there are air vents here as well on the front hood. The color that we're driving is actually called red, but it looks more like a burgundy to me. This is a long, lean sedan, so it has those long sedan lines. And notice the silver panel on the roof. That actually draws your eye from one end to the other, giving you a sense that this is a large sedan, but it's actually not. It's the same size as any other medium-sized sedan on the road. So it's not overly large, but it does look and feel that way. It gives you a very elegant and luxurious sense of its interior. The Lucid comes with two types of keys. So there is a traditional key fob that you see here, and it actually, so it says Lucid here on the front. It is very palm-sized, very easy to, and lightweight, super lightweight. And on the back, I hope you can see it, there are some icons that you can just press for lock, unlock, and opening the Frunk. The system is already set to lock and unlock as you approach with the key, so that's a little redundant. And then you get this little key card, and on the back it shows you how to access the Lucid Air by using the key card. So you could just stick this in your kitchen drawer, in your wallet, or some other place, and you have a very easy to hold on to backup if you need it. But I will say, I really do like this very small, very nicely palm-sized Lucid Air key. And you might notice the side view mirrors popping out there as I approach, because I have the key in my pocket. And it does that as you walk up with the key, and as you walk away, it will lock. You can see it flashing there and locking because I got out of range. You can use your app, your key, or this little button right here on the dashboard to open the Frunk. And it opens up nice and large. I love that it's an electrical component. You don't have to lift it yourself. But even more delightful than the electronic opening Frunk is how much space there is in here. So you can see there's a nice wide space here, and then there's actually a floor, and you can get a whole other, like a cooler down here. It's quite large and quite convenient if you don't want to put things in the trunk, which we also have in the Lucid Air. And another nice feature is the close is electronic too. So you do have to push it down, but only gently. And you can let it drop, and then it actually has an auto soft close, so it draws the Frunk lid down and locks it. You don't have to slam it or put any weight on it, which is another very nice luxury feature. One thing that's kind of cool about the rear end of this sedan is it gives you a lot of features that are similar to an SUV in a sedan. So that nice flexible cargo space. So you'll notice the Lucid name here along the light bar. There's a chrome bar that spans the whole rear end. And there's a little bit of a spoiler here, a light bar there, and there's lights on either corner. And then check this out. This is what I love about this cargo area. Look how wide this is. So the opening comes all the way to the edge of the sedan. Now, I will say it is a sedan, so it's low. So you could actually sit in here, but you're not going to tailgate. It's not a real comfortable place to sit. But it does give you a long, low, and linear area for stowing cargo. If what you have in here isn't enough, then you can actually remove this cargo floor for even more cargo space. And then over here, there's a area here and there's one over there. And this is where you can stow your Lucid charging cord for nice, neat stowage. If you probably have one installed in your garage and you're going to use a public station, this is your backup in case you go someplace where you need a charge cord and one is not provided for you. And there's a little space over here, a little more storage over here, and a 12-volt power outlet. Tiny bit of storage, but storage nonetheless. So that's pretty nice. And then down here you'll see, because it's such a wide open cargo area trunk, there are actually lights here that act as emergency flashers if you find yourself on the side of the road, the trunk open, and you need to have flashers. They're right there. And then, of course, because it's luxury, we have a push button trunk lid closure. How nice is that? But let's talk about what this car does really well, and that's all inside here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start it up, and all I do is touch the brake and that starts the car. As long as I have my key in my pocket or in my handbag, it can be in the car, it doesn't really matter. All I have to do is put my foot on the brake and the car starts. There's actually not an on-off button, which is pretty nice. Now I'm going to turn the temperature up a little bit because it's kind of warm. And one of the things that this car will do automatically when you get into this car, you can set it so it will automatically turn on your seat coolers if it's hot, or your seat warmers if it's cold out, and that will help to use less battery energy by not cooling the cabin, by cooling the seat instead. It's kind of a warm day here in Texas, and so I'm really appreciating the cooled seats. It also has a heated steering wheel, not a cooled steering wheel, but a heated steering wheel for those days when it's super cold out and you need to heat the steering wheel. Now, those are pretty basic standards of an electric car. One thing that is not so basic that Lucid has done is they've given you a full glass roof. So this is three pieces of glass. There's one that goes up here to the middle. There's one panoramic sunroof over the rear seat, and then there's the rear window. So three very large pieces of glass. Only a little bit of metal trim on the roof, but really it's all glass. And it's dark, so it's tinted inside. It's more tinted to about from here back than it is from there down, so you can see. And then on the top it's tinted to not let light in. I will say it's pretty warm in here. No warmer than your average car, but it is definitely warm. So I'm very much appreciating the cooled seat. So I want to show you some of the details in here because the luxury and the innovation in this car is pretty over the top. So it starts with the leather steering wheel, and by the way, full leather interior, and it smells heavenly. Smells like a leather interior should. Full leather steering wheel with this really beautiful sort of 3D Lucid at center of the steering wheel here. Very minimalistic controls. So you have one control bar here. This is your adaptive cruise. This is your radio. That's kind of it. You can customize some of the things on your driver information screen. That is going to be down here in this screen. There are three portions to this curved glass display. There is the multimedia system, which is kind of a small, I would call it like an 8-9-ish inch screen. There is a much larger driver information display, and then your key functions are over here. So this is where your lights, charge door, so to open the charge door, to open the frunk, and to lock the car, that lock or unlock, that is all right here on the left side of the flat screen. It's actually not flat, it's actually curved. So this curved display, that's over on the left. Then we have air vents here. There's some really pretty wood trim here, and there is fabric on the door panels and on the lower portion of the dashboard. There is what they call the pilot panel right here. This is some multimedia, and it's also some vehicle controls or settings. So and then you can also get climate. There are climate buttons here, so you can quickly set your temperature and fan speed, and then there's a radio volume dial right there. Then I want to show you this. There's an armrest here, and I'm going to lift this up because I want to show you, it's like a magic trick. So there's a center console here, and I'll just drop this in there. And then there's this panel that retracts back. It does not look like it would bend the way, you know, a retractable panel does, and I cannot see any evidence of the wood. It's a wood panel. I can't see any evidence of it turning as it retracts, but it clearly does. I can feel underneath. It's got the fabric backing, so I can feel that it does, but you can't see it at all. It's pretty clever. And we've got cup holders here. We have a wireless phone charge pad right here, so you can pop that in. There's also another phone holder right there, so you can pop your phones into these spaces and not have them falling in with the other stuff that's in there, or having them take up your space for a cup holder, which is pretty nice. So I want you to notice there is a lot of headroom, there's a lot of leg room. These panels, door panels, are actually carved out, and there's a silver or chrome trim piece here that kind of goes all the way around the cabin. And what that does is it draws your eye all the way past the screen and to the lower portion of the dashboard, and it gives this sense of this car being much larger than it actually is, which is a pretty cool thing. And the door handle, in case you're wondering, it's right here. You just pull it and push the door open. Behind the driver's seat, you can put your phone in here in this wireless charge pad, and then you can put the cover over it. Very nice and neat. There are two cup holders here, and there's actually room for two phones. So you could put a phone not charging, but you could put a second phone right there, and they're right where you need them. This curved glass display gives us multimedia here, so when my phone is connected, I'll see Apple CarPlay here, my driver information screen here, and then over here I have key driver functions, so headlights, defrost, to the plug, to the control to open the charge door, to lock or unlock the car, and to open the frunk. A lot of those functions are actually here and here as well. This is actually called the pilot panel, and there are several functions listed here, and this is how you control it. So this is the car function. So doors, locks, this is where you lock, turn on or off the child lock and the window lock. Seats in the higher trims in the Dream Edition, you'll have massaging seats. We don't have massaging, but our seats are automatic, so I can raise the seat up or down, forward or back by touching these controls here. Some of those controls are over on the side of the driver's seat as well if you need them instantly and don't want to play with the touch screen. And then there are themes, so I can actually change the theme of the driver information screen and all of my my settings here by playing with the theme button here. I can change the brightness, and then I can also change to a whole different look. So I can go to Wonder or Solitude or Inspire. All of these ideas inspired by the state of California, where Lucid is headquartered. And then here's my charging information. So this shows me not only how many miles are left on my battery, but this is where I can open the charge port as well. Let's go back to that. I can open the charge port. I can set a charge limit. If I only want to go to 80% to preserve the life of the battery, I can do that. I can start preconditioning, which will precondition the battery for fast charging, so it will charge as efficiently as possible. And then I can schedule my charging too. So if I don't want to start my charging until, say, 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning when rates are lowest, I can schedule my charging. And then here are all my functions. Almost everything in this car is in this pilot panel here. And there's key buttons and key controls for things outside of the pilot panel, but most everything is here. So for instance, on the driver information screen, the battery range was displayed as a percentage of the battery, and I wanted to see the number of miles left on my range. So I go to settings here, and then I go to displays, and then here's where it tricked me up. You go to units. I think of units as either miles or kilometers or pounds versus metric units. No, you go to battery display. So I can display it in percentage, or I can display it in distance. And that's really what matters more to me. Now, if you set navigation, and let's say you want to go to CVS and you've set navigation, if you have navigation in use, the mileage will automatically display, and I'll show you what that looks like. Other things that I found on the pilot panel, so safety and security, not much there. Vehicle, trip information, so everything that you want to know about your trip, and if you're using since last charge, your trip odometer A or trip odometer B, you'll be able to see that. And then you'll be able to see since last charge how much you've used and how many miles you've driven and that kind of thing. So pretty cool. Dream Drive. This is a really important one. Dream Drive are all your ADAS features, or driver assistance safety features. ADAS stands for Advanced Driver Assistance System. And this is, we call it driver assistance safety systems because these systems are for your safety, but they also assist you in keeping you in your lane, letting you know that there's a vehicle next to you in your blind spot, things like that. So the whole system is laid out really nicely right here, and you can actually turn them all on or off however you'd like. I have them all on. Some of them actually allow you to pick a visual or visual plus audio, an intervention or warning plus intervention only for lane departure. It's a pretty insistent, hefty system. It does give you a pretty strong tug on the steering wheel and a loud sound, a beep, and then a little rumble. So you definitely know when you're going. And there's also a visual cue here that shows up on your driver information screen. So it's pretty forceful. But I didn't find it annoying. I found it annoying that my passengers didn't know that I wasn't using my turn signal, but other than that, I felt it was pretty good. Displays, so we can, you can lock the rear display if you'd like, so the rear passengers can't play with the, with anything back here on this screen. Connectivity, so this is where you're going to connect your phone, and then you will have wireless Apple CarPlay. The first time it took me a little bit of time to connect it, but the next time I hopped in the car with my Bluetooth on my phone, it can, wireless Apple CarPlay showed up right there. In fact, let me see if I can get it to pop up here now. So I'm going to connect the phone. So the first thing I'm going to do is tap the phone. Oh, that is Alexa. Oh, there is Alexa. So you can either tap the little microphone here, or you can go to applications and there's Alexa, and you can connect your Alexa account to the Lucid. And now I've just opened my Bluetooth, and it gives me the option to pair with the Lucid. So I'm going to pair. And now that I paired, you see my Apple CarPlay is there. It actually popped up early because I had been connected before. So That's a pretty cool thing. And it was nice this morning when I got in the car. Apple CarPlay popped up automatically. And you have just the kind of typical Apple CarPlay stuff. It's not a huge screen, but it's good. And then there you can just tap the Lucid icon to go back to the Lucid screen, or toggle back and forth between that and Apple CarPlay. And then we have under applications, you have SiriusXM, Spotify, and a few other listening apps, access and profiles. Here you can set up your own profile, and you can actually set up face login. So you can log in with your face. I'm not sure exactly where that camera is. I haven't seen it other than the one, there's a camera on either exterior pillar of the car, but I haven't seen an interior camera. But there are cameras here because it was watching me and telling me I needed to put my hands, pay attention, eyes on the road, and put my hands on the steering wheel. So there clearly are cameras in the screen that are watching the driver. And then here's your about, and this is basically your software update. So where it says about, I think, oh, maybe it's going to tell me that it's Lucid is built in California. Nope, it tells me that my software is up to date. And so that's a great thing too. If you're not sure something's not working right, I mean, you know how it is with your phone and your computer, something isn't working as expected, and the first thing they say is, have you updated your iOS? So this is where your iOS is right there. The functions on the multimedia system can be viewed here, or they can be viewed here, and they can actually be moved from one to the other. So say that you have navigation and you want to bring your navigation down into your pilot panel. It's right here. So you can just tap right there, and there is your, and this is actually really nice satellite view of where we are. We're actually sitting, you can't see us, but there's a big arrow right there. This is where we are. So you don't actually see us because it's a satellite view, but that's where we are sitting, is right there on the roof of that parking garage. So that's pretty cool. And then I can search for, if I want to go to CVS, so I can look for the closest CVS, and then it will navigate, and I can just tap go, and away we go. Now, if I don't want to see this on this screen anymore, and I just want to see it up there, I just push this back out of the way, and there we go. I can pull that down, and that's where we are. Now, let's see, if I want my music screen up, I can see what's there, and I can just pull this down, or I can do the very clever pull it down from there, or I can do the kind of easy thing. There's a little line there. I can just pull it down there, and I'll get the same thing that's on this screen, and same thing with the phone, and same thing with the home screen. So I don't have it with the home screen, only with those three functions. And then Apple CarPlay. So it doesn't give me the option to have Apple CarPlay down here. I can only have it up here. But I want to show you another kind of cool detail, and that is with the navigation. So I've set navigation, and now it'll show me all of my navigation is here, so my turn-by-turn directions, and then it shows me what my battery range is going to be when I arrive at my destination. So if I have this set for charge percentage, or I have it set for number of miles on the range, either way, it still shows me the number of miles that will be on the range when I arrive. It also shows me which drive mode I'm in. So I can go to go to drive mode here, and if I change it to Swift or I change it to Sprint, it'll show me that I've changed it to Sprint here, which is Sport Plus. So that it gives me a very stern warning. Sprint mode is only being used by a skilled advanced driver under suitable driving conditions with Lucid specification summer tires installed. So clearly for the racetrack or drag racing, not intended for city streets, but still pretty cool. Okay, so there's two more things I want to show you. So under the pilot panel vehicle controls, you're wondering, I know you're wondering, where's the glove box? It's right there. So you just tap this little button and the glove box opens, and then say I want to just be eyes on the road, I want to get rid of this pilot panel, or I'd like to use the storage space behind it, I can just retract it into the dashboard. To get it back, just tap right there, and it retracts back to its position. Nice little storage space right here. So if I wanted to put something in there, keep my cosmetic bag, and keep it away from prying eyes, I can easily do that. I love that. One of the things I love about a huge back seat is I can do this. I can slide over here and set up my camera, and then I can just slide right over here and tell you the whole story. And it's very easy. And it's because there's so much legroom in this car. But what makes this really luxurious? Well, you have these beautiful interior details. The fabric covering that you see on the dashboard is here. Leather seats here. These are kind of bucketed seats, so they don't recline, but you can actually like sort of lay back and take a nap if you'd like to. There's room for you to cross your legs if you would like. This particular model, and this is the base model, has heated rear seats, so your rear seat passengers aren't going to be cold. There is a sun shade here, so I can raise it or lower it just by touching this control here. So I can extend it or I can lower it. But I want you to notice there's a sunshade here too. Now I can just tap this once and the sunshade goes down. I can tap it twice and the window goes down. So that is a nice detail, and I like having pull it twice to put the sunshade back up. I can also do that from the front seat. So if my passengers left the sunshade up, or I've left it there for my dog loves these, then I can lower it from the front seat so I don't have to walk around and manually lower it. And that's a really nice luxury detail too. So driving the Lucid Air this week has been pretty incredible. One of the things that really surprised me is how agile and fast this car is. Even in full regenerative sort of one pedal driving mode, it is truly one pedal, which means that all you need to do really is articulate the acceleration and give it more or give it less, and that's how you slow the car. You don't really need the brake very much. I like to think of the brake as really only there for emergencies and for those moments where I need the certainty of having my foot on the brake, but really I don't need to. I'm able to regulate my speed and even come to a complete stop in traffic, or at a stop sign or a traffic light, just by taking my foot off the accelerator. Now you don't have to drive it in full one pedal driving mode. You can drive it in the closer to normal. And then there's also something called creep mode. And so when you come to a full stop and then you tap the accelerator, that will allow you to creep forward like you would in a gas powered car, when you just let the power of the engine kind of do its thing. So it will allow you, if you're sitting in traffic and say you're tired of the stop start and you want to just allow the car to move forward on its own, just tap the accelerator for creep mode, and then you'll have that as well, which is kind of a nice detail. I'm really impressed with how quiet this car is and how comfortable. Everyone who's been in the car with me this week remarked about how comfortable it is and how quiet it is, and it smells really good. The leather and the luxury in the Lucid Air are top-notch. And whether you choose the base model Touring or the top of the line, the Dream Edition, it doesn't really matter. You'll still get the leather seats, you'll get the micro suede headliner here and on the sun visors. You'll get all of the creature comforts. All three rear seats are heated, and you'll get heated and cooled front seats. You'll get all of those details. So there really are not a lot of compromises to make in choosing the less expensive Touring versus the more expensive Dream Edition. What you do get in the Dream Edition that you don't get in this car is the full 1200 horsepower. It is the full longer 500-mile range on the battery versus 384 in the Touring Edition. And then you get a few other niceties like massaging seats. So I will say, I do wish I had massaging seats, but sometimes you just have to make compromises in life, right? So, but it's massaging seats or no, the Lucid Air has been a dream to drive. Even though we're in the Touring Edition, it has been a really lovely week this week getting to know the Lucid Air. So we're gonna hop onto the highway and I will show you what the acceleration is like. I hope it is rush hour in the Lucid Air. So we are in the Air Touring, which is not the top of the line. It has about 640 horsepower rather than the almost 1200 horsepower that the top of the line, the Dream Edition, has. And you can see why you would call that a dream, because it will make your head spin. And it might feel a little bit like a dream, because it is just the torque and the power in this car, in this model alone, is pretty crazy. I can't even imagine what it must be like in the super high end. So now we're really sitting in some traffic, and I'm really glad to have the Highway Assist program, which is the Dream Drive features, to help me drive. So the car in front of me is driving away. I've set my adaptive cruise. All I have to do is tap my toggle and the car restarts. Now, it also somehow reset to a slower speed than I really wanted. So now I have to increase the speed by just pushing this dial up. And it's actually following the car in front of me. And that was a little short of a step. So I'm gonna increase my follow distance from 2 bars to 3 bars, which I see right here. It says drowsiness detected. I don't know if you can see this, but it says drowsiness detected here. I'm totally not drowsy, but it's probably wondering why I'm using all the Highway Assist technology in this very boring traffic. And it's actually probably thinking, because I'm turning and looking at the camera, that my eyes are not focused on the road. The Lucid Air is everything a luxury car should be, a lot of things that even Tesla should be, and everything that an electric car should be. It's innovative, it's smart, it's fast, it has that silent acceleration that never seems to stop. It has really great one-pedal driving, something that I do appreciate. It has true one-pedal driving, and it's pretty efficient. This one has almost 400 miles of range, top of the line for $170,000. You get 500 miles of range plus almost double the horsepower of the Touring Edition that we're driving. $107,000 starting price, $170,000 if you go for all the goodies. And then you get the experience of driving a designed in California, built in Arizona, truly American, truly innovative, and truly luxurious electric sedan.